Welcome to the Gaudium et Spes podcast, where every other week we bring you Catholic teachings and stories of faith from people throughout the Diocese of Pensacola-Tallahassee. Now, here are your hosts, Susanne McNinch and Chez Filippini.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Gaudium et Spes podcast. Chez and I are back in the studio, but as always, if you haven't, check out our last episode where we had the privilege of having Miss Tina Easter on the show. She and Bishop Walk talked about the 50 years of the diocese. It really was an incredible episode, so please check it out if you haven't already. But today we're back in the studio and we've got two superb guests with us today. So we've got coming off their ordination on the 31st of May this year, we've got Father William Gibson, who's right now at St. Anne in Gulf Breeze. And we also have Father Peter Jutras, who is with us. He is currently at St. Rita Parish out in Santa Rosa Beach. Fathers, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, great that you guys could be here with us today.
Father Peter might be our first, besides us and Bishop, our first repeat guest.
Yes.
So we had him on during seminarian days, so welcome back. Thanks for making the drive over.
Absolutely, yeah. No, this worked out very well. Yeah, what was it? I think it was myself and Aaron Slayback.
Yes. Heard about life in the seminary. We've got you guys on to talk about really the experience of we've had plenty of priests on, obviously.
Yes.
But a unique snapshot into what it's like to acclimate into priestly ministry, after all of these years of schooling and training and the grandeur of your ordination day, and then reality hits. So we're really excited. We always start out, Father Peter, you know this, with the first line of Gaudium et Spes, which goes, "The joys, the hopes, the griefs and anxieties of men of this age, especially those who are poor or in any way afflicted. These are the joys, the hopes, the griefs and anxieties of the followers of Christ." So, what's going on? Father Peter, just had Thanksgiving break. Anything come to mind?
What's going on? Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot going on. So it's been really good. It was nice being with my family for Thanksgiving break. It was nice. And Father James was visiting his family. So I was at the parish. So I did a little bit of driving back and forth. So it was a lot of fun being with, my sister just had a baby, little cool. Angelica Rose. So we all hung out at her house. Mary and her husband Josh did most of the cooking. So my job was to be fun uncle. So it was a good time. I didn't drop the baby, which was that was the goal. It's like, as long as I don't drop the baby, I think everything is good. So everything went very well.
It's what every parent thinks, man. It's not just uncles. It's just like, we're all just like, don't drop the baby. Look natural. That's cool. Father William, anything going on in your world?
Oh, man. I was home recently up in Milton with my family, so was there for Thanksgiving. It was amazing. It was kind of low-key. It was relaxing. And then my niece, her name is Emmeline Rosemarie, and she turned 6 years old. So I got to be there for that, and that was good for me because all my nieces and nephews, they've had their birthdays when I was down in seminary. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm present to them, especially her. She's nearby. And it was a good feeling. It was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Suzanne, I don't want to hear it. I know you're wearing it. You can say it if you need to.
For those of you that are watching today, I have a nice crest on my shirt here today. But no, it was a great game this weekend. I won't rub it in too much. But, these opportunities sometimes don't come all the time. Yeah. So I've got to do a little go Gators. So
were you down there?
We decided not to go to the game. No, we sold our tickets and stayed home instead. Yeah, both kids came home for Thanksgiving, so it was really nice that I say that our husband and I are now aligned, but then when our kids come home, we become a square again. So the family was together as a square. So no, we had a lot of fun. It was really nice. My sister, who lives here in Pensacola as well, her and her family came over too. So we all spent the day together. And just
super cool.
Yeah, it was just really nice. How about yourself?
Oh, the usual Melbourne pilgrimage, and definitely day 6. I'm sitting around, just like, why am I still sitting around? I need to do something that's minorly productive. But I think the most fun thing, my youngest, Gabriel, is almost 4. He's still 3. And then the youngest cousin, Riley, is 2. And so they've just like developed their own little partnership where they play together. And it's one of those where like they talk absolute gibberish, but they're having a conversation that only they understand. It's quite funny to watch. That was probably the highlight of the whole week. And we went to a Spanish treasure ship wreck museum down in Sebastian, Florida. We got to hold a real gold bar from a 1622 Spanish treasure wreck. So there are so many treasure wrecks off the eastern seaboard of Florida. It is bonkers. So if you've got a metal detector and a ship, get out there and can make some money or something like that.
Nice. Hey, I haven't asked you this in a while, but how's your mom doing?
Mom's doing great.
Good.
She had we don't want to say abandon her, but we went south. She stayed here, but had some friends over. And for the most dedicated podcast listener, you might recall a story I told of meeting their long-lost friends in an airport in Texas.
Yes.
To find that they lived just an hour away. That same couple, Tracy, came over to spend it with my mom. So they had a really great, it was kind of like a Friendsgiving. So
good.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good. Well, now to the business of the day. Yes.
So usually we do like faith stories, vocation stories. We don't have time for that. If you want to know about Father Peter and Father William's vocation stories, check out the July-August issue of The Compass. They told it all there. We really want to hear about kind of maybe start at ordination day, your various experiences of what that was like. And maybe, I know your assignment started maybe a month after that. So the honeymoon phase, if there is such a thing for the newly ordained. So Father Peter, kick us off. What was that day like and the weeks afterward?
Yeah. The day was incredible. It was a lot. There was a lot going on. It was really nice because, for me, St. Paul's is my home parish. So it was great. I worked there at the end of high school and then throughout college doing maintenance and cleaning and janitorial stuff. And so it was throughout college, right? Going there, praying at St. Paul's, mopping the floors, right? Cleaning the grout lines on the tiles, and then like laying down on that same tile that I cleaned, like for ordination it was surreal. It was really just a beautiful experience. And then being home, being with everybody, having friends and family from Connecticut, from California, my uncles, aunts, friends from Virginia, from everywhere. Like we're there, and it was incredible. It was a lot happened, and it was a blur at times, but just so much fun. So
nice.
Yeah, and then from there going to first assignment, it was. That 1 month break was hectic, right? Because all of our classmates are getting ordained at the same time, right?
All traveling.
Yeah. So going up to South Carolina, going to Georgia, going to other parts of Florida, that month was a lot. So a lot of just kind of being everywhere and having, again, a lot more fun, like being with them. This is kind of our last hoorah as a class before starting assignments. But then the summer was nice. It's good starting doing ministry in the summer because, people are on vacation, people are away, like not all the ministries are in full swing, right? The youth group are going on trips and stuff, but it's not like every week there's something like these big events happening. So it was good to like kind of transition into the parish in that time. And then when the fall hits and everything gets full swing again, it was nice to get to know the area and then go into ministry there.
Wow.
So that was a nice bonus for starting in the summer.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Hello, William. Memories of that day, those weeks?
A lot of memories. I can remember the anxiety the four of us had moments before we walked out of that sacristy. And I look back and it was so funny. And I remember all of us simultaneously were like, "Oh, that's gonna happen," and that was just so funny because I think for the four of us, the reality of what our lives have been pointed to, it all came in right there. And of course, being ordained in that church too. I mean, I know, Peter, you're from there. My mom, when she lived in Pensacola growing up, she was confirmed there. And for me, when I was in college, I remember I would take time to do like a holy hour you know, between classes or between classes and work. And it was a place I would frequent sometimes, or for like daily mass, for confessions. So yeah, that church has something meaningful for me there too. That month was also good. That break we had before we started our assignments, I got to see a lot of family. You know, I remember traveling, you know, to go see like other, you know, classmates, you know, in their ordination. I spent like a week up in Tybee Island. That was a beautiful place too. You know, Father Brett Brennan, he's the author to Save 1,000 Souls. You know, he's a vocations director for, you know, Savannah Diocese up in Georgia. I remember I got to concelebrate Mass with him when I was up there, and just the way things tied in. I was like, I can't believe I'm concelebrating with this man who wrote a book, who gave us retreats in seminary. Like, this is amazing. There was a lot to get used to as well. You know, I'm from this area, so I'm from Milton. Being in Gulf Breeze, like I got family there too. So that helps settle in. But I remember just like that first week, I was like, why am I so anxious all the time? You know, like why is this happening to me? And then I brought in a spiritual direction, and you know, my director was like, yeah, that happens. Your first week, you know, you're high on emotion, and it's a lot to take in. I was like, oh, thank God, it's not just me. But if there was like one word I could use to describe all of that, and like even like going on like being a chaplain for a pilgrimage to Arle Guadalupe, Mexico, and you know, just traveling and getting settled in, I think that word would be grace. It's all grace. There's so much happening. There's so much pouring in to our lives, you know, during that honeymoon phase. And you take it in, and it's immense. There's a huge weight behind that. And I would say for me, honeymoon phase, it went away after 3 months. And I tell people that all the time. My parishioners, they hear that from me all the time. And that was good, because then things became normal. The learning curve is still going up, but things became normal for me after that.
Interesting. I'm still in the honeymoon phase. Like, I'm on cloud nine. It's great. Man. So it's been so much fun. I still feel like, I've told a few people this, where it's like, I feel like I should be, it's like, it still just feels like I need to be going back to seminary. Like, I still feel like, this has just been a long break, and I should get I'm supposed to be packing now. Like, I'm supposed to be going and getting ready to go back now. But it's like, no, I'm here. And I'm staying, and it's very odd from going from seminary to seminary, back and forth from South Florida to Pensacola, back and forth, just for the past 7 years doing that. It's like, oh wait, no, I'm going to be here for 3, 4, 5, like however many years I'm here, and it's like I'm here. I'm not going. Like, that's a very crazy reality. I'm still wrapping my head around that.
Yeah, I remember in seminary they said like after like 6 or 7 months, you know, you would feel that withdrawal, that you need to come back to seminary. Like, your body would still feel it, but you're there kind of mentally. And I've been like anticipating that, and I gave up. I was like, you know what, this isn't going to happen to me. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if I'm the black sheep in the group, but I don't feel that. Like, I was just so ready to be a spiritual father. Yeah.
That's good. Well, as a Pensacolian and a Miltonian, I've just learned those new words here recently. So it must be special to be a diocesan priest and come back to a familiar place for you. It probably made that transition a little bit easier, maybe, rather than, you know, going 1,000 miles away and having to learn a new area, new culture, new people, new things. I mean, you're still doing that where you're at right now, but I think there's a little bit of comfort, because on the weekends you can go home, or, you know, your weekends are very busy, but, you know, I mean, the times that you want to, you can take off to visit family and friends and things like that. So I think that's really special.
Yeah, no, that's been nice. It's especially because I grew up in Pensacola, and then I was born up in Virginia. So but since I was like 10, I've been here. But we never really got out to Destin, which was interesting. Like, we went out maybe once or twice growing up, and then that was really it. So whenever I got sent to St. Rita's, it was like, it was getting to know this new place,
Sure.
which far enough away from home where it's like I'm not tempted to go home all the time, but also at the same time, like it's an hour 45 going back. It's like it's not the 10-hour drive that it used to be from seminary. It's like, oh, I can do this. This is great on my day off. Like I can come back home. Like I'm here today. It's my dad's 60th birthday, and so we're back here on my day off to go and to see you guys, and then we'll have dinner tonight. But it's like, I'm able to do that, right? Normally we're back at seminary, and it is so nice just being in the diocese with the people here who I've grown up with, who I've seen, who've been praying for us for so long. The people we didn't know, I get to the parish and like, oh, we've been praying for you. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is incredible.
That's cool.
So,
Nice.
I think what everyone usually wants to know is like, what's it like celebrating Mass after all this time? And I know that probably has been answered a million times by each of you in the midst of, but tell us again. What as you talked about kind of this culminating point of your ordination day, the priest's life is conformed so intimately with the Eucharist. What's it like? Has it been? I dare not say. Is it like, well, it's just part of my day now or something like that? But yeah, tell us about that rhythm.
There's always something new about, I think for a priest, when you're newly ordained, there's something new about like the priest prayers, and some days it hits you a little harder than the other days, or there's something about a word or maybe the way that you can even say it that sticks out. And so I enjoy those quiet moments to myself. I love celebrating Mass where I'm from too, and there's something unique about that. It was during Blue Angels weekend at St. Anne's, and they're buzzing the tower. They're everywhere. And I think it was the day before, like the first show, they were practicing. And it's right when I'm elevating the host, I see in the window over here that perfect V formation, and they stormed over, St. Anne's, and it was like their sneak attack they typically do during their shows. And I remember I'm holding Jesus in my hands, and I see the blues there, and I look at my people, and I'm thinking, God, this is awesome. Like, this is, Lord, like, you know me, like, Lord, you brought me home. And what I center my life around, what brought me, to this stage in life, it's shared intimately. Like I'm really, like my feet are buried in the soil where I'm from with the Mass. And also too, like with the Mass, I think for a priest, it's so much offering. There's so much offering you do. You bring in all these intentions. People will come to the sacristy, say, hey, Father, I'm going through this, or hey, someone needs prayers. Could you offer them in like your private intentions? Mm-hmm. And so there's something so intimate about the Mass, and it's really, there's always something new about it too for me still. There's something, I don't know if it's the same for you, but there's something new, just something that will stick out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, that's a big part of it, where it's it's like what is it? Yeah, like one word, right? Different parts will stand out at different points. And I'm in seminary, because I know you were the MC at the end of our time in seminary, right? In charge of the liturgy. I worked with that before a pastoral year, and it's like, as we're focused on making sure we're doing the things right, and we want to make sure that we're celebrating the liturgy well, right? We're not missing any words. We're not forgetting to do things here and there. But in the midst of that, in the midst of us kind of quarterbacking on the altar, right? Figuring out how we're doing the liturgy, the Lord sneaks in and like brings little things up, right? That as we're saying these prayers, as something we've said 100 times before, all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, okay. Oh, the Lord, he's like, here, no, it's like a little gift here and there. These little, it's just these special kind of nudges that he gives, right? It's a little look that's like, oh, you've heard this before, but you're going to experience this again. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it makes it so personal. Mm-hmm. And so it's just this relationship with him in the liturgy it's so so much fun. It's awesome because it's like he's speaking to, while we're speaking his words to everyone, like he's speaking to us at the same time, right? And in this special way. And it is like as we're offering this, it's a big part of prayer now is it's not just I'm praying for my family or I'm praying for just a few intentions, but like we have this whole parish family now. Like this is our family that we lift, and all of our prayers, our liturgy of the hours, the masses we celebrate, our rosaries, we're lifting them up for the intentions of our parish family. It's like it changes this direct. It's not like I'm not just praying for my own, like, okay, Lord, where are you calling me? It's like, no, I'm here. Like, this is where you've called me. And now I lift up and I offer. The priest's job is to offer the sacrifice, right? It's to bring the prayers and the petitions of the people to God. Right, to lift while they're lifting it up, we lift it up too. Right, that's why our hands are raised in the orans position. Right, it's us gathering, collecting the prayers, and lifting them up to the Lord. And so it's a beautiful, just kind of shift in how we pray. Of like, it's not just like where am I at, but it's like no, it's like I'm here to bring them and bring my family, my parish, to the Lord and to lift them up to Him. So it's really it's incredible.
Wow. That is very beautiful. So what has been like some of your favorite moments that you've had over the last 6 months in your new role? If you can share maybe one or two of those with us.
We talked about this earlier, but I think it was that second month, the priesthood. I was with my parish. We went up to Hidden Lake, Life Teen Camp. Now, we usually send 1 or 2 buses full of high schoolers or middle schoolers. There were 45 high schoolers when I went up there with them. And that was the best way for me to know them, to get to know them as well. And I love my kids. I mean, those in Life Teen, those in middle school, high school, they're so awesome, each one of them. And I remember I was also like one of the main priests there too, at Hidden Lake. So they had me kind of on like the record team, which I was like, oh, all right, yeah, I'll do whatever, I learned what the 6-7 thing was during Hidden Lake, and you guys saw me use that earlier.
It's twice already. Yeah. I've got a limit on 4 6-7 references. Okay, or 6 or 7, whatever you feel called to.
I'll keep it to a minimum. But so my homily, I was like, I'm going to use that reference so that they're like, paying attention. I'm going to see what happens. And so I begin the homily saying, it took 6 to 7 years for Our Lady of Guadalupe to, for her, her visit to Mexico to, really affect the people and the Aztec people, yada, 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 I didn't give enough time for them to like laugh, and they were all holding it in. God bless them. And the rest, I was, the last 6 days I was there. They're like, Father William, did you really mean to put 6-7 in the homily? 6-7. Oh, Father William, wow, that's awesome. I don't know how I feel about that. That's really cool. It was awesome. But I really find a lot of joy just being around them, kind of feeling like a father figure in a way. And I like putting those brain rot references in my homily sometimes. And it really is funny, but it actually, that's the way I could connect with them. And it assures them like, hey, like I want you to like pay attention, but I'll use something that's so silly and nothing. It is something, and I'll put in my homily so you can like pay attention. So I enjoy those moments for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool. For the uninitiated, Brain Rot is a series of online kind of computer games on the Brain Rot website that has its own. I have a 4th grader who is just like introduced to this whole world to me. Kudos to you for trying to navigate those waters, because I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. Let's see. No, I think for me, it's been awesome. I don't know if I could just pick one thing. It's preaching has been a lot of fun. That's been really cool. What's odd for me now, one of the unexpected things was how all of my life I've been hearing priests give homilies, and now I don't hear anyone else give homilies anymore. It's like a stark, like,
It's a weird feeling.
nope, it's very interesting where I used to be hearing them every day. Now I'm giving the homilies every day.
Yeah.
And for my whole life, it's always been listening. Now it's, oh, nope, now I'm the one speaking. So I kind of miss it. It's like you miss hearing other. What's nice at St. Rita's has been Father James Valenzuela. He's the pastor there now. And so we both got there together. And what we'll do often is we'll both be at some of the daily masses, right? He'll be up and our at the cathedral mass was at, I think it was at 6:30. They do the 6:30 a.m. mass. Insane. It's crazy. I like sleeping in. Whenever I was at Sacred Heart for my pastoral year. And so I was so excited to be on pastoral year seminary. We do stuff at 6:45 and for morning prayer and mass. And then I was like, finally at pastoral year, I can sleep in. I can have like an 8:30 daily mass. And then I get sent to Sacred Heart, which is the earliest mass this side of the diocese. I didn't get a chance to sleep. And so now it's at 8:30. And Father James, 12 years at the cathedral, he's up already at that point. And so he'll come and he can celebrate mass. And so daily mass, like we'll both be there for daily mass. So oftentimes we'll have two. Sometimes if there's a visiting priest, we'll have three priests for daily mass, which is this real fun brotherhood that we have there. And so I'll get to hear him preach sometimes, but it's like, that's a stark difference for me of like, oh, well, I'm like, that's something I didn't expect to kind of hit as hard. I was like, whoa, but at the same time, like I love preaching. I love doing this. Like we were talking earlier about preparation and stuff. It's like preparing during the week, getting stuff ready, kind of figuring out. Sometimes you get to the point of the homily and I'm like, beforehand, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Like, I've been looking at this stuff. I don't know, Lord, what you want me to say. Like, here we go. Like, I have an idea and I need you to take it. And it's like just sharing the gospel, right? Wow. And it's so much fun. And other times we figure it out. I have it all planned out, ready to go. And it's so much fun. It's awesome. And so I really enjoy preaching, doing the sacraments. Being there with Father James has been really wonderful. Good. So we have a very good brotherhood over there at St. Rita's. So,
nice.
Father William, you mentioned maybe that there was a point where the preparation happened and then the delivering of the prepared notes to the ambo did not happen.
Yeah, it was like it was last Sunday actually, and just to piggyback off what you said, there's so much I love about my priesthood, and it's so hard to pick one thing. But yeah, I recently, I the night before, or 2 days before, I will kind of like I'll go through I chew on it for a week, and I write things down, and I have my notes there, I have the script, and I go back and forth with it, and. So I get up to the ambo, I preach the gospel, and then people see me like looking, and I left my homily in my office, and I was like, well, this is a first, and let's see what happens. And I basically kind of explained that there's two ways you can say that you're a new priest when things are going well, and people ask you, well, how long have you been ordained? Oh, 6-7 months. And how to do it. Sorry. It got me rolling on there. And that's awesome. So beautiful, new priest. Well, there's a second way you can say you're a new priest. Like, for instance, you forget your homily in your office and, you got to remember like what the homily is about. Well, I'm a new priest, and these things happen. But that experience was actually one of a few, well, many actually, where I realized that people in my parish, they're very understanding. The people of God, they know their priests well. They pray for us. They love us dearly. And I really gotten to know mine in a very awesome way. But they were just like understanding with me. And I was so grateful for that they could see this humanity that I have. I don't want to cover it up, like I'm me, I'm William, but they can see that and they can get something out of that. So it was funny how it happened, literally, but it is beautiful how the people of God, how they see us too. They also see that side of us that is always there. It'll never go away. That our humanity.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's good to know and a good reminder, because we, have been studying for so long to become priests, right? Being in seminary, going through so much formation, and then we get out and we're here, and it's like, okay, well, I need to have now all the answers. I need to be perfect now, and I need to be like I want to do so good for the people of God, and at the same time, it's like, no, but we just want you, right? You're not. We know you don't know everything. We know you're still learning, but it's not as. It's good for me to be able to say, okay, like I'm going to make mistakes. Like everyone's very forgiving, and they walk with me, and they've been journeying with us as we're learning. So it's good because I'm put myself on a very high standards, right? I want to make sure I'm doing as best I can. But then it's like, okay, well, everyone else isn't expecting that much from us. So we can, especially while we're learning, like we have time to figure everything out, to not lose our humanity of like, you have to be perfect. It's like, no, God doesn't expect us to be perfect, right? One of the joys of confession is being able to share that, to be able to say like, that's so incredible, where it's like we hold ourselves to these high standards, and then we come to confession, we say, Lord, I've fallen, I've messed up, I haven't followed you, and I'm sorry. And we get to share that, no, God loves you so much. He hasn't run away, right? He doesn't just leave us because we sin, right? That's it. Like, he doesn't do that. He's always with us. He's always forgiving. He says, stand back up, right? Stand back up again. Let's keep going. Stand back up. And so for us, and as we're beginning ministry, right, it's like, nope, we make a mistake, we forget something. The people of God are stand back up, keep on going, and that's been really wonderful to see.
Well, he's so intimate with us too. And like, this Advent, we're preparing, for, like Jesus coming again through the Nativity, and so he takes on human flesh, right? And it's, there's a lot added to that. It's, the emotional things that we share in, right, our frailty, and he shares everything but sin. So, we're called to have that attitude, being understanding and merciful with others, of course, but ourselves. And I think it's good for any like seminarian or new priest to have this experience where you realize, okay, I understand like what was taught and what is ideal, but now I have to learn how to bring that about in a very good way. But I have to kind of realize the reality around me, not water it down, what's been taught and handed down, but, you learn again, like, you get out of seminary and boom, you're back at the bottom of the totem pole. You're a new priest. And, that learning curve goes up again, like you're learning how to make all of that fit into like reality. And, those moments can be blessings too. Those moments can humble you in very good ways. In seminary you have the ideal, but in the parish you have real life, and some they understand it too in seminary too. They know that we're experiencing this too.
Yeah. It's a lot like, and I've explained it before, is like in seminary everything is so condensed. It's so dense, right? Our job as priests and then all of us as we proclaim the gospel is not to just throw out this dense brick of information and knowledge, but instead to be able to take this great gift we've received and to make it palatable, right? Like our job is to make this something that we're not just going and quoting huge sections of the Summa Theologica, right? We're not just doing that, but instead we're able to take this and make it into something that we can consume, that we can digest, that we can, that it's not just for the people, but for ourselves, right? It's like I can take this and make this into something that I can consume, and that again can be something that's healthy for me, fruitful for me, and fruitful for the people of God. So it's going from, okay, well, I've learned it in this dense way. Now we have to let's make this into something beautiful, right? We're not just eating pure sugar, right? We're gonna make it into a cake, and how can we make it into something delicious, something palatable?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned learning curve and, how steep it can be, and it really is. And, I always used to talk to my sailors and say, are you achieving that balance in your life that needs to be there? So are you taking care of yourself, both physically, mentally, spiritually? So the mom in me wants to know, are you eating healthy? Are you sleeping well? Are you taking care of yourself? How's that been going for you?
I've gained some weight in that experience. I think, I find that meals shared with parishioners or with family, those are moments where we had to get to know each other. And so I actually made it my goal for those first 3 or 4 months that after every Sunday Mass for the announcements, I would welcome people to take me out for a meal. I would say, hey, I'm open for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I make myself available to you. And someone gave me the idea, and I wish I didn't forget who that was. But I was eating out with parishioners for 3 months in a row, almost every day, and that was a lot, But I loved it. Oh, I loved it, and it was so awesome. So and that's where you can kind of remember names better, because I'm horrible with names sometimes. That's where you get to hear stories. That's where, people are more comfortable with you and they kind of see who you are. I find that leisure is actually a really key part in any good, healthy lifestyle. Not just resting, but good leisure. Our culture lacks good leisure in many ways. We think of leisure as watching TV and, going to bed late, doom scrolling on your phone. Really, it's engaging activities where you're in tune with nature or you're in good company. It's restful, but it's very productive. For me, I like going on walks. I love going on walks. I love the water. One of the big purchases I made as a new priest, I bought a kayak that actually folds. It's called an Oru kayak, and I'm not sponsoring them, but it is a cool kayak. And so I go out, I go fishing. I like to follow the dolphins in the bay sometimes. I'm really close to the water. I go fish with parishioners, so I try to be active in that sense. I try to go to the gym. I'm not the best at that, but also it's good to have good time to yourself and good time with others, and the time that I have myself, I really, that's usually when I go on a walk, that's when I do my rosary. I listen to officer readings, or I really try to invite God in those moments. And talking about being home too, it's awesome being around my parents. My mom drops me off all this food all the time, and my grandmother does the same thing too. And in fact, they came by and gave me some Christmas decorations at the office, and it's fun being home. But it's so important to take time and to have a family home cooked meal, to be with family too, as a priest. In that time I have taking care of myself, praying, being interactive with people. I've also realized too that I want to be the uncle, or I want to be the brother-in-law or the son that's always around. That's not just there during the holidays, but active because in a family life, right? Which all of us here, we try to, in our own families, we try to defend that dignity of it. That's where we find our vocations. That's where we find the meaning of life in some ways. That's where our faith's handed down. So for me as a priest, in the way that I take care of myself in a lot of ways, I want to enter into that. I want to keep that part of my family life active, because people, I want my, siblings, nieces and nephews to see that I'm that priest that uncle priest is always there for them, attentive to their needs, but as part of the family. It's kind of a tangent on the family, but
so we welcome.
Yeah. It's a good podcast for it too. But,
That's why this is how we found our vocations, right? It's with our families, with our friends in these moments that are very important. So I'm very glad I'm over at St. Rita's, just far enough away from home that my family can only come by sometimes and not all the time. No, I miss them a lot over there, which is again why I'm glad I'm over there, is that this has been very good for me to help me kind of grow as a priest, right? It's like I'm going to need to figure this out over here. I can't be going to my family all the time, because for knowing myself, like I'll go back to doing whatever I've been doing. I won't have good habits if I'm at home all the time. Yeah. And so I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting enough sleep. So much more sleep now. Getting the sleep in. Oh, good. It's so good. 8:30 a.m. daily mass is incredible. It's so good. It's so a lot of sleep. It's nice. St. Rita's is out in. It's surrounded by trees over on 98, and so as of right now, it's almost like a retreat center. Walking from the rectory to the church, like I'm getting plenty of just walking around the property, praying rosary. It's like it's just a beautiful spot out there, just to kind of be and to pray. So, and then I can come home and I got my friends over here. Making friends with parishioners. I haven't told them all to invite me to meals yet, so that's a great idea. We've had a bunch invite us over, so they'll call the office, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, is that a schedule for, I'm going to whose house for dinner? It's like, what? Oh, great. And so like getting to meet everybody, that's been an interesting part of being over at St. Rita's. Both myself and Father James, we got there at like the same time. I think he got there maybe a week or two before me. And it's, and so I'm not with a pastor who has been there for a while, who knows the history. We both get there and we're both trying to figure out, like, okay, who are the people? Like, what's going on? What's the vibe here? Like, where did this place come from? We're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the building of the current parish building, right? 25 years it's been the same, right? And before that, they were doing mass in, I think they had a different building. They were doing mass in like a shopping center. They had a building there. And before that, I just had dinner recently with the family they would do the first St. Rita's masses was in their home, was in their living room. They'd have the traveling priest, Monsignor Mullins, would go by and on this route and doing masses at different places. And so getting to know this great history of the parish is incredible. So we're kind of like detectives right now, just trying to figure out like, okay, what's the story? What's going on? Where have we been? How are we being called to grow? So I have been taking care of myself. I could definitely be doing a better job. I need to be careful with what I'm eating and stuff. But it's been really good. Having friends, getting to know the area, driving around, being right on the water has been great. I know Father Grant Sennett, he loves to fish. Both you guys are big fishing guys. Grant's at St. Paul's, and so during our retreat for our canonical retreat for priesthood, we'd see we're like doing holy hour in the chapel, and the chapel like over in St. Augustine is looking out over a lake or a river, and they see Grant out there. It's like freezing cold. He's in his shorts and he's out there with his fishing rod, out there fishing, taking time to be and to rest. And so the importance of the day off is real. That's they talked about that a lot, and so trying to make sure I take that time off. But yeah, so I think I'm working. I'm getting there.
Good.
I'm getting there.
Good to check.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh man, maybe to end as we get close on time. One thing I've always been curious about with priests is hearing the word father. Because I tell you what, just as a dad, all my kids have transitioned to calling me just plain dad. And every time I hear it, I'm like, I'm not dad. My dad's dad. You know, it's like it's just that, like I'm always a son first, and I can be dada or daddy, but like dad is like. So what's it like? What does it feel like, or as you're called father, and you realize that this is the way people see you now?
It's interesting. It was a lot. I think it was odder being called. It was more odd. I don't think otter. Right? Odd. It was more odd being called deacon whenever we were deacons.
Oh yeah.
I think that took a while to get used to, because then even as a deacon, like we were wearing our collars, and we were wearing clerics as transitional deacons. And so people were already started calling us father then, right? Mm-hmm. So even as a deacon, it's like, no, I'm not father. Okay. You just get tired of correcting. It's like, yeah, that's fine. We're going to be fathers soon. And it was for me, it hasn't been, it's actually been a pretty smooth, like I'm already used to it. So that was pretty quick for me. And it feels right. It's like, this is, it's comfortable, right? Because it's not as much I don't know. It just feels very natural because it's like, this is who I am. Like I am now a spiritual father, right? I'm a priest, and it's something I've thought about for a long time and prayed about for a long time. And now that it's here, it's like, okay, this is, it's not uncomfortable, which is, I figured it would be more uncomfortable, but it's not that much.
I kind of had to get used to that, being called father. It took a while for it to sink in. I remember in seminary, I was kind of interested in just, writings that pertain to spiritual fatherhood, and there's beautiful stuff out there. But when you have, we had to call her on as deacons, but then when people call you a father and you're not a deacon, but now you're a priest, you're in public, it hits you differently, I remember I was in an airport quite recently, and I had my clerics on. I'm going through, pre-check, and this guy who was in TSA, he was checking my bag, and he's a young guy too, and he says, "Father?" And I just said, "Son?" And everyone everyone cracked, it was a kind of funny little moment there. And I feel I guess there's some things that you do that make you feel more mature when you're a priest, like the roles you play in the parish, the way you're with your parishioners. But I remember when my father called me father, he's like, when I got ordained, like, "Father?" And I said, "Son," and him and I like to joke a lot, but it's something that you don't take lightly, because it's, like any father in the real world, there are certain things you do, there are certain things you give up, there is a certain way of loving that you're called to take part in. And I know for us, there's a lot of offering, and you really offer yourself for people. For me, when I'm called father, I'm reminded of the way I'm called to love as a spiritual father. And it's not a fatherhood that I own myself. It's I think for any father, a priest or a dad, right? It's something that you partake in. Yep. Something you definitely partake in. It's really a gift.
Yeah, same. I go with it. There's a great theology, to be a son first, participate in the fatherhood of God second. It's never just like duck to water. Oh, this is a natural. And I look at my wife, and her transition into motherhood was so seamless, and I always feel like, even as a dad to my 4 children, it's like I'm kind of putting on a role I'm trying to love in a certain way, rather than like, oh yeah, I've been a dad, I got this down for my whole existence, I'm like, this is as natural as it gets. It's like, it's a calling every time it's offered to me.
Yeah, and I think that when the putting on, right, we had just this past Sunday, from Romans, our second reading, that we have to put on Christ, right? This isn't something that God throws at us, and it's like, oh no, you're father now. It's like, no, we need to put on Christ, right? We need to choose him. We need to choose this role, and that he's given to us, but he doesn't force it upon us, right? It's like, no, we need to take up this mantle and choose it. So I think that's a good way to say it is to put on, right? We put on the fatherhood, because we can be a father and not put it on, right? And not do well and not give everything to, but being able to put on this fatherhood, to accept this responsibility, to say yes to it, to say yes to this calling. It's difficult. It's not easy, but it's so beautiful, and it's so fruitful. Yeah.
remember Father Perales at Minor Seminary, Miami. You know, a wonderful man. He once gave this homily, and he said, you know, priests have to remember that, yes, you do need to smell like the sheep, but don't forget to smell like the incense from the altar as well. And I love that, because you have both, you know, worlds. You're with the flock, but remember where your fatherhood comes from. Remember that, you know, your life is an offering to this flock that you love, you know, as like your, I guess, spiritual children. But that's how Christ also comes to us. That's how he makes God the Father known to us. He's with the flock. He's with us. But he also has those divine moments where he reveals who God the Father is. And it's in those moments that God the Father blesses him, acknowledges him as his son, his beloved son. But it's a beautiful reminder of how to follow Christ, and maybe in our own fatherhood, you know, or maybe those who are with fathers all the time, you know, how to support father figures.
Wonderful.
That was fun. Thanks,
I
guys.
know. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. You're inspiring. You're incredible. You're doing so well. We're so proud of you. I mean, I know I saw you at orientation back in June, and I was just like this, like giddy. I was like smiling all the time. I was like this proud mama, you know, watching you guys grow, and it's been just really neat to see you doing so well. And we're so blessed to have you within our diocese. So.
You've been told a million times, thank you for your yes, but thank you for your yes. It's just been, you know, the just last weekend or 2 weekends ago now, Father Fernando's ordination as well. Another reminder. It's just the richness of the blessing of the priesthood and the gratitude that it elicits out of God's people is just, it needs actual persons to say yes to it. And then it's just so great. So thanks for being vulnerable. Thanks for taking time to share your stories with us, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Guys, we will be back in 2 weeks' time for our last podcast of the calendar year with Bishop Bill. He's going to review the year, the happenings and goings on in his old life. So we'll see you then.
Thank you for tuning in today to the Gaudium et Spes podcast. If you would like to know more about our podcast, please visit our website, gaudiumetspes.net, or go to ptdiocese.org and click the button that says podcast. If you listen to the audio version from an app such as Apple Podcast, Spotify, or iHeartRadio, be sure to rate, review, and comment. If you watched us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe or leave us a comment there as well. Thank you for joining us.